So I just leave this gas station where before I started renting the room, or maybe no, it was right after I started renting the room. I started stopping here getting Four Locos, right? But I don't drink Four Loco anymore. I went back to not drinking it, right? So I started stopping here now. I've been here probably 3 times since my couple run-ins with the guy that works the counter. His name is Tony, and I think he's Arabic. Um, Anyways, I told him the last time I came or whatever, because he was talking about how he hadn't seen me in a while or whatever. And I told him, I said, Tony, man, I said, I'm not at the hotel anymore. I'm renting a room from this guy or whatever. And I said, and he be wanting to have sex. And I said, I ain't had sex in 7 years, Tony. What I'm supposed to do? Tony said, have sex. And I was like, Tony, no. I'm not going to have sex. He was like, why not? That's a very bad thing. You know, the same thing all the little foreign people say when I run into them and I mention I having sex. They know something bad happens to a guy when you reject them sexually, and sexual frustration can turn into something else. So so we laughed it off or whatever. He asked me, he said, so you're renting a room from him or whatever. And he was like, so you walking today? Because the last time he saw me, I was walking in the rain, y'all. And I told him, I said, no. I said, he's letting me use the car or whatever. He was like, oh, okay. And we said a couple more things before I left, and that was pretty much it. So then I see him. This is my first time seeing him since then, right? Tony come from behind the counter, and it's like almost like I had sex written on me without it being written on me. And he hugging on me and touching on me, and they got a heart on, and I'm like, oh, like, you happy to see me? And we talk and we bullshit or whatever. I said, Tony, you remember last time we talked or whatever, you told me to have sex or whatever? I said, I did. I said I had sex with that guy, and I said he told me to be safe. He was like, oh, good, blah, blah, blah. But he said, be safe, make sure you, I'm still traumatized, y'all. Every time I see Richard's pickup, I get this bad thing happens to me on the inside. For a moment there while I'm talking in this video, my mind didn't tell myself he's gone. So, because keep in mind, even though, the way I'm delivering this, you have to think about who I am. Like, you have to factor in who I am and how I've been dealing with all these bad things that are happening to me. But this is yet another trauma, and I am traumatized. And there's things that happen that I don't mention because I don't ever get around to it. It's so much that I haven't talked about that I wanted to note in these videos, but I'm barely even getting to make a video. And here we are, his second day being gone, but he'll be back tomorrow, and I still haven't got nothing done because I'm down. I've been down like all day today, all day yesterday. Like, these motherfuckers won't let me. It's bad. So anyways, Tony touching, and we playing, what I'm saying, storing stuff. And I told him, I said, Tony, you need to stop. I said, because you told me to do the wrong thing, you're a bad influence or whatever. I said, next thing you know, I'm going to be having sex with you. And so then Tony asked me for my number. I give him my number, and I take off. But he said, life is too short. He said, you told me you 41? He was like, life is too short. You supposed to be having fun. Enjoy it. Just do it or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, whatever.